Right, well, obviously we're all still reeling after that huge Brighton defeat, and it looks as though Steve Parish has been muting about the idea of offloading Roy Hodgson and bringing in a new manager. Now, apparently, according to an article by Ed Aarons in The Guardian, this happened after the Arsenal game, that, you know, the big defeat that we had against Arsenal. Apparently, then Roy was close to being sacked as well, but that didn't happen. And he's also now been very close to being sacked after the Brighton game, which I guess we're all not really surprised by that. However, it looks as though Steve Parish has been various managers, sounding out managers, trying to find out if they would want to take the job. Among those that he's spoken to is Julien Lopetegui and Steve Cooper. Now, according to Ed Aarons at The Guardian, both of those have been reluctant to take on the job simply because there's not enough time to prepare the team before the next run of games. And of course, we've got teams like Chelsea and that we've got to face. It's going to be a very difficult period of fixtures for us, and apparently those two managers in particular are not keen on taking over at this particular time in the season. Now, bearing in mind we had about a 10-day break after the Arsenal game, if they had let Roy go then, there's more opportunity, I would have thought, and certainly more likelihood that either Julien Lopetegui or Steve Cooper would have taken over the job, because they would have had 10 days to see the team, prepare them, get them ready for the next game. And of course, the next game being Sheffield United, it would have been a lot easier to go into that game not quite prepared than it is going into the run of games that we've got coming up at the moment. So according to Ed Aarons, that is the situation at the moment. So it looks like they are looking to replace Roy Hodgson, but they can't get anyone to take over. They can't get anyone to come in with such a short period of time between the next game. So it's looking a little bit desperate for us, because if Julien Lopetegui and Steve Cooper don't want to take the job, then, in my mind, it means that, Steve Parish either does one of two things. He either keeps Roy in place and hopes that things turn around, or he just sounds out as many managers as he can until he finds one that wants to do the job and brings them in. Now, the problem with that is that you might get a manager who's not very experienced, or you might get a manager who's not very good. And, yes, it's a change of manager, and yes, it's a change of impetus, but it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be in a better position. I'm sure that's not going to happen. But I do hope that we can attract the right type of manager. Now, it might be that, there are some people who have said that maybe Dougie Freedman or Paddy McCarthy should take over, or the two of them together should take over until the end of the season. Of course, that's a good idea, but that doesn't necessarily mean that things are going to improve. So, the players might respond to an experienced manager coming in, one who's coming from the outside, who isn't linked with the club. That might be something that the players would respond more to than players or staff from inside the club taking over. But anyway, that's apparently where we are at the moment. So keep your fingers crossed, everybody, that either of those two managers or another manager with similar experience and talent will be persuaded to come and take over the reins from Roy Hodgson. Let me know down in the comment section what you think about that particular rumour, and if you had a choice, who would you bring in? Let me know down in the comment section.